Hi, I'm Joel Engardio on the campus of Harvard University. Behind me is where 30,000 people will gather for graduation. I'll be there getting my degree from the Kennedy School. I've thought about what would I say if I had to give a commencement speech. Well, here it is. The title, After Injustice, a Rainbow. Graduation week at Harvard falls on the anniversary of a gay purge. May 27th is the day when the dean of Harvard College convened a secret court to question students about the suicide of sophomore Cyril Wilcox. The questions weren't about Cyril's death. They focused on a letter that connected Cyril to a gay scene at Harvard. Dean Greenough said the discovery was unspeakably gross and that it tainted the college. He took quick action. All students found to be gay would be expelled. Senior Eugene Cummings had studied 5 years to become a dentist. He wouldn't graduate. A note was added to Eugene's file that said, "Proved guilty," but took ether upon receiving news, died morning of June 11, 1920. Back then, students like Cyril and Eugene were silenced by shame. Today, I speak proudly. I stand here as an openly gay man about to receive my Harvard degree. The story of gays at Harvard hasn't been told at commencement before. I think it's worth telling. I realize there's a lot of injustice in the world, and gays are just a fraction of the population. But think about it. While some try to deny it, every nation, every race, every religion, every culture has gay people. How we treat gay people says a lot about how open a society really is, and open societies are the best chance we have against injustices of all kinds. How open are we? In America, we have Glee on TV, gays in the military, and same-sex marriage in 5 states, but not the other 45. And in some 30 states, workers can be fired just for being gay. Gays don't have full rights in most countries. Even the oppressed oppress gays. The deaths of Cyril and Eugene in 1920 were repeated in 2010. There was a rash of gay teenage suicides across America last fall. Kids internalize the intolerant speech that still runs deep in our politics, religion, and culture. Growing up, all I heard about gays was how bad they are, by ministers, politicians, in jokes on television and at school. I believed what I was told. So did my college friend Jeff. I could see Jeff was depressed, but I was afraid to mention it. I was too afraid to even admit I was gay. We liked playing tennis, so that's what we did instead of talking about our feelings. This went on most of our sophomore year at Michigan State. Then one night, Jeff jumped off a parking garage. He was 19. At first, I was numb, then angry. How could religions and political parties have the right to say gay is sin? The answer is they have freedom of speech. But I have it too, and so do you. Something changed when I finally began speaking my truth. When I finally started saying gay is okay. Intolerant speech no longer defined me. And the people around me began to change. Family and friends never had any reason to question their beliefs and assumptions until I talked to them, until they heard my story. I began to see speech as a solution, which is why it needs to remain free. Even way back in 1920, a mother spoke out when her gay son was expelled from Harvard. "You could have done much good," she wrote to the dean, "had you perhaps had a little less sense of justice and a little more of the spirit of Jesus in your heart." That Harvard mom of 1920, she represents the true religious traditions of love and compassion. She also represents the true Harvard tradition. You know why? We don't have secret courts here anymore. After injustice, a rainbow. Speech is what has moved Harvard toward openness, not just for gays, but all the people who weren't welcome on campus at one time. Telling the story of a more diverse Harvard is how we will export our values of tolerance to the world. Many injustices, old and new, exist and fester outside our gates. It's up to us to negotiate solutions. It requires all of our passions and talents working together. What would we do without the Kennedy School and the schools of law and business, education and medicine, arts and engineering, divinity and design, especially design? Changing the world has got to look good. I have to say, my classmates are what I find most inspiring about Harvard. We've all faced hurdles that could have held us back, yet we have resilience, curiosity, determination, and strength. Imagine what we will do with our education. When I grab hold of my Harvard degree, I will carry it for Cyril and Eugene, my friend Jeff, and all the kids who never made it this far. I will use it to speak truth and promote justice, to change minds through reason and respect, and to expand and preserve freedom for all. Who wants to join me?